Hello and welcome to Real People, Real Results. We are so happy that you are joining us today because we've got an exciting person for you to meet. I'm so excited for you to meet her. I'm Kathleen Oliveri. I, along with our co-host, Dr. Barbie Phillips, will be sharing with you for the next 15 or 20 minutes. If you are new to Redox, if you are new to ASEA, let me tell you the way I like to think of redox signaling molecules and why I take them. I take them because they help to detect, repair, and replace damaged cells, and they help the good cells to communicate with each other. So I like to think that healthy cells, healthy organs, healthy body. Now tonight, or whenever you're listening to this, we'll be talking about those of us who are using redox signaling molecules, and we will be sharing information, but it's not designated to prevent, diagnose, treat, or cure any medical disease. These stories you will hear are personal experience from those of us who are using redox signaling molecules. Now I'd like to turn this over to Dr. Barbie Phillips. She will introduce herself and then also introduce our guest today.
Thank you, Kathleen. Again, my name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I'm coming to you from Fargo, Oklahoma. I represent Creation Chiropractic, where I do chiropractic care for people and animals, and we incorporate redox molecules with our clients, both humans and furry clients as well. And we have seen a lot of great success. We are going to go ahead and introduce our wonderful guest tonight, Miss Sherry Marshall. Sherry, welcome tonight. We're so happy that you're joining us. And where are you coming to us from tonight, Sherry?
Well, tonight and every night, I live in Pflugerville, Texas. It's between Round Rock, Texas and Austin, Texas. So that's where I'm coming from tonight. Now, who knows tomorrow night?
Well, we're so happy that you joined us. And what we would like to know is, how were you introduced to redox signaling molecules, and how long have you been taking the molecules? And, just a little bit about what your life was like before the molecules and then how it's transitioned along the way.
Well, let me go back just a little bit further than that to tell you that my background was corporate America. I was with AT&T for 30 years, and my last job with them, I had about 500 people that reported to me, so very stressful. So during the 30 years, probably 25 of those 30 years, I suffered from those really bad headaches that people get. That really put them to bed and everything else. So much so that what's interesting about that, I never missed a day of work because I'm that crazy. I was like, I don't care what it takes. I've got to go to work. That's that work ethic thing. But I'd had these headaches for really most of my life. Had injections that were given to me because the doctors didn't want to see me in the emergency rooms anymore. So I had self-care was the injections, or trying to catch it before that it was too bad. So my real introduction to this was with a man that I had met 10 years previously, and his name is Terry Latham. Several of you know him already, but he introduced me to this, telling me that he was making a change and that would I like to go and meet the founders and the scientists behind this. So that's really how I was introduced. I got to actually meet the main players, and I was totally blown away and impressed. And I will tell you right now, coming from corporate America, that takes a lot because I wasn't impressed with most leaders in corporate America. So being impressed by somebody was a really big deal to me. I was like, wow, these are people with big hearts and have a technology that is going to be just as big as their big hearts. And so that was a big deal to me. But I wasn't sure how it was going to work for me. I did ask the scientist, and you'll love this, Barbie. I did ask him when I'm sitting across from him, I said, what about animals? Would this work for animals? And he said, do animals have a cell? Because this is not an animal product, to be clear. This is not marketed as an animal product, to be clear, but when he said that, I went, well, yeah, and they have souls too, because I'm a huge animal lover. And so he kind of laughed a little bit on that. And so then I really knew that this was something that I wanted to embrace, because my whole being what I feel like my whole purpose on this earth is to help animals with a better quality of life. And everybody goes, but you went to work for AT&T, and I go, yeah. That was 30 years of just getting enough income to be able to do some of the things that I needed to do that I'm passionate about. But what I saw personally was those headaches that I used to get seriously went away. Seriously went away and have not come back. And I'd never had anything that did that for any period of time. So you think about how that changes your life, because you're afraid to walk out the door. You're afraid to go on a trip. I was really afraid to go on a trip, because it's like you get these horrible headaches and you're just in a hotel room the whole time. Wow, that's a great way to spend your money, and stress would bring them on as well. So anything outside the norm would be just horrible for me. So that was one real big before and after, and then the other big thing is I'm now 74 years old and I'm on no medication whatsoever. And I feel better than I ever have in my life. I've always had pretty high energy, but it would also wane. Like usually 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd feel a little dip. And I started with the Redox, and the dip didn't happen. There is a bad side effect, and I will tell you straight up, the bad side effect is as you get older and you have problems and you take this and you don't remember you have problems, you'll go out and do really stupid things. Like I did a flip in my yard because I'm sitting there thinking, I feel so good. And I fell on my butt and I laughed and I went, oh my gosh, you've lost your mind. You've lost your mind because you think that you're 20 again. So that's the only side effect that I know of so far. But really, I've had remarkable results with it, with other people as well. But the big thing, the headaches, the energy, and just still not being on any medication whatsoever, to me is a huge win.
Those are really huge wins. And, like you said, we don't really treat any medical condition, but you could have XYZ medical condition. But redox molecules are so important for our body's cells to communicate so they can do their job. So tell me a little bit about redox molecules and how that changes as we age, and how those effects can bring on some of those maybe issues as we get older, Sherry.
Well, I don't get into the science a lot because, girl, I was with the phone company. I mean, that's it. But what I have noticed is that as I'm sitting around at my reunion, my 55-year reunion a few months back, and everybody was talking about the aches, the pains, this or that, and what had been replaced in their body. And I was sitting there going, wow. I think that's the big thing, is that I don't have to deal with any of that. And it's not like I don't have those. I have 5 herniated discs in my back. So it's not like I don't have problems. I don't feel those problems a lot. And every once in a while, I might feel something, and then I'll take more of the Redox or I'll put the gel on. To have something that powerful, to be able to have you, like Kathleen said, to have your cells communicate to where that you really are getting the benefit of what God put in our body. I mean, this is God's plan, and we're just going along with it, is the way I look at it. So I think it really is just the most tremendous gift that you could give anybody.
So this is also something that people that are healthy should take, correct?
Oh yeah. It's like, what if I love, somebody said sometime back, and I wish I could give credit to the person who said, they said, may we never know what we have prevented.
Hmm.
May we never know what we have prevented. And that was so powerful to me, because it was like, that's so true. And you'll have to forgive me because I hear 2 cats growling in the background, because I have a cat called Wild Man Jack. He's called that for a reason. He was a feral cat, and he's trying to torment one of my cats. So if you hear growling, it's not my stomach and it's not me.
Oh, goodness. Speaking of cats, would you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about your experience using some of the products with animals? Have you, played with that a little bit?
I have actually, when I said that that's my real passion, it is. And in fact, one of the things that I have done is introduce this to several rescue groups because of what it can do to really reduce their vet bills. Because if you think about something that's natural, something that's non-toxic, that you could maybe help something to just get better quicker. That's a big thing. But one of my, I guess, pivotal moments in my career with ASEA. I've been in 11 years, by the way, and it was probably about 5 years in, maybe even 6 years in. Uh, my original mama kitty, I have too many mama kitties, but my original mama kitty came up with this big lump on her throat. And I took her to the vet, and it was not good news at all. And they said, go ahead and really at this point, let's talk about really putting her to sleep. Let me say, she was 19 years old. She was blind. It's not like, yeah, a lot of people would have already done this, but this girl had a great quality of life. I didn't even know she was blind until I took her in, and the vet said, did you know she is, I mean, blind. And I went, no, she gets up on everything. Every once in a while, she'd kind of stumble a little bit, but she was a great cat, and just didn't, just this lump was the problem. And she said, but it's invading the area where she's not going to be able to eat or drink. And it was very, very fast growing. And so I told her, I said, would you shave that area? And she goes, oh my gosh, you're going to use your stuff. I said, oh yes, I am. And so she said, well, you've got to bring her back if you do that. And I said, trust me, I will. And so she shaved it, and I used the gel on that spot. And I also gave her the liquid every single day. 23 days later, I took her back in, and that had reduced by 85%.
Wow.
And
What
that
a
is not,
testimony.
she did die at 20, but she didn't die from that.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
a great testimony. Wow. And
Yes,
again, it wasn't really treating that. It just gave the body what it needed to
that's
try
right.
to heal itself. So that's a
But
that's a great story.
that was a turning point for me, because I was like, how can you not actively share this? Because I was very passive. I mean, I retired after 30 years. I was blessed to have a good income. So I didn't have that income drive that some people do to build it. But I have the passion of things like this that just got up in my lap. That's
Hmm.
wild, man. I have the passion of that to really that drives me. Now, every single day I think, okay, and I have started, for the people on here, I have started reaching out to people, not just the animal part. I used to say, I like people, I love animals. And I think the good Lord said, Sherry, you need to change that. I do love people too. Sometimes they irritate me when they don't always listen. And we know we've got such a great technology that could help so many people. But I love people and I love animals.
Right. And I might take you back just to the beginning where you mentioned you had the honor of meeting the founders to the company. And could you tell us a little bit about the company and the founders and what they represent and what you were impressed with?
Well, I was impressed, first of all, because Vertus Norton was such a giant in his own industry, because he was with Kraft Foods, and was one of the top leaders, and somebody who people actually sought after him for his knowledge of building a business. And so all of a sudden now he's in this network marketing space, which he didn't even know what network marketing was when he was introduced to this. But the way that they even presented everything, it was all about the people. You could tell it was not about the profit. And I had never been around a company, whether it was network marketing or traditional, that wasn't so driven by just the profits that they would throw the people out with the bathwater, so to speak.
Hmm.
It was
Right.
like such it was actually a spiritual experience, if you can kind of get that, because it was such purity in the room. And I don't use that lightly. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of my career with AT&T. I wasn't one that would, so to speak, kiss the ring of the rulers. I was always kind of the one that goes, yeah, okay, he puts his pants on just like everybody else. So I didn't have that high respect. But with Virtus and with Tyler Norton, the founders, oh my gosh, just their heart leads them to all the right decisions with this company. And then having a technology that's such a breakthrough technology, and they will get teary-eyed talking about it because of the people that it's helped. I've never seen that in a company ever. So
Wow.
I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Well, and just to show our viewers what we are talking about, the ACA Redox is in this blue bottle, and this is the liquid form. And then there is the Renewed 28, which is the gel form, and they are both safe for people and animals. We've had that question with some animal use, whether, it's safe for them, and of course it is. And then they have 3 other divisions, which is their skincare line, their supplement and nutrition line, and then they have their cell performance line also. So that is something that they just have come up with, a great system of products that are overall health and wellness, which is great. So Sherry, what I would like to do is open it up for our viewers to ask questions, if you are okay with that. So I'm going to open it up now. If there are questions, you're welcome to turn on your microphone and your camera, and we will connect you with Sherry to ask any questions that you have. Marita, go for it.
Wonderful experiences. Wow. Could you share with us a little bit about how big was the lump on the cat?
It was about the size of those great big marbles, the big marbles, not the little ones. So it was, if it was like on us, it would be like maybe a quarter of your neck.
Oh, wow.
It was huge. And it was growing at such a rate, because I pet my animals and love on them all the time. And it came up really fast and grew really fast. Like in a week, it doubled in size. So I knew that we were probably in trouble.
And how much was it drinking of a morning?
That girl was amazing. I don't like forcing a lot down an animal, especially one that is sick, because stress can create more problems for you with your animals. So she loved dripping water. I would drip the ACEA in a bowl, and then pick it back up with like a thing. And she was taking probably 2 ounces a day of the ACEA, and then I was putting the Renew on her neck. Probably 3 to 4 times a day. Just as I was petting her, I'd put some on. And, now what I would do, I will tell you this, because I didn't know a lot about it back then, but now I would have put it on the bottom of her feet as well. And probably on the inside of her ears, not like a glob, but just as you're petting them, because those are all really good places to put the gel, especially.
And you did
Great
mention
points.
having them shave that, and the importance of that is so that you can get as close to the skin as possible, right?
Yes.
So for the absorption. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank
It
you,
was
Marita,
remarkable.
for that question. Are there any other questions?
Nobody wants to ask me about the flip? Come on.
I want to know how long you were on the ACA Redux when you decided to do that.
I had been on only about maybe a couple of years. I mean,
Wow.
it was long enough. But what was amazing is my granddaughter, she said, she came in and she said, Mima, she said, watch me cheer. And so she was doing some stuff. And I said, okay, your arms are not straight. And she goes, oh, like you can do it. I said, girl, I can do it. So we go outside and we're doing jumps. too. And then I went, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to move for a week. Because, you know, when you're not used to doing those things and then you do jumps and then you're doing this flip, I wasn't even sore the next day. And that's when I went, okay, this is
Wow.
real. This is a real deal.
That's great. How much do you drink now?
I drink 8 ounces a day.
8 ounces.
Mhm.
And do you take it at one time? Do you spread it throughout the day? I know, they recommend, spreading it through the day. I'm just curious what you do.
I do. I spread it. I take the pouches because
Okay.
I love the idea that the pouch is 8 ounces already, and then I can just carry it along with me, and then I'm taking it throughout the day. But I take probably the biggest dose in the morning. I probably take about 4 ounces in the morning.
Okay. Okay.
I also use. I absolutely love the energy. I
Ah,
love the energy. It's like that's my coffee in the morning instead of coffee now. I love the radiance. I love the flavor of it. I can't get it. I mean, it's like a treat.
mhm.
So these are all cell performance for those that don't know. And then the mood I take right before I go to bed. So I use 3 of the 4 of those. I only use the mind whenever that I'm kind of going a little off. But the other 3 I use consistently.
I've
And then of
actually
course the nutritionals and the skincare. I use it all.
Awesome. I've actually gotten to where I mix the radiance and the energy together. And I love
Oh,
it for some reason that really works well for me. So I've just recently started doing that.
yeah. And somebody told me on the mood, because the mood tastes good, but it's not my favorite
Mhm.
flavor. And somebody said, well, what if you did it in hot tea for, right before you go to bed? And I have done that, and oh wow, that is like perfect because it's kind of got a lemony flavor. So anyway,
And
just
you
a tip.
you put that in tea or that is your tea?
No, I put it in tea, like
In
a
tea.
bedtime
Huh?
tea, a sleepy time tea,
Huh.
and then put that in too. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
Oh
That is
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's delicious.
Are there any more questions out there for Miss Sherry? We would love to have them. All right. Well, Sherry, do you have any final comments as we wrap this up?
Yes, I'd say, if you are wondering how to share this, how's the best way to share it? The best way is to open your mouth, because the good Lord's going to share with you exactly what it is that you need to say. So it's just us getting out of our own way and saying, okay, I'm going to share it with this person. And then the right things will come out. I promise you.
And that brings up a good point too. If someone is interested in purchasing products, we highly recommend they do that through a reputable associate versus going out online and, doing some of the online orderings where you just really don't know what kind of product you're getting. There's no guarantee from the company, which you might mention a little bit about what the company guarantees the products for us.
Yes, a 30-day money back guarantee for up to 2 cases. So I think that is remarkable, by the way. And the other thing that I think is really noteworthy is that a lot of times when you get on a subscription with a company, it is impossible to make changes or to get off of it. This company is the most ethical on being able to, it's easy to make changes, it's easy to cancel, it's easy to do whatever it is that you need to do. They make sure that the customer is happy. But there are 3 ways you can buy retail. I never suggest that. I don't like paying more. You can be a preferred customer, which is, I think, a great way to start. You pay the same price we do, or you can come along with us and be an associate and share it. And that's only $40 to join
Mhm.
this company. That's just amazing, because then you get the benefit of a website and now an app that's just remarkable, as far as how that helps you.
Mhm. Those are all
So
great
yeah.
points. Yeah, very good points. And the
Another
ASEA,
question.
oh, go ahead.
How have you grown your business? Do you do a lot of in-home workshops? Do you meet them at coffee shops?
I do a lot on the phone, and then I do a lot of networking. I haven't done a lot of in-homes. There's a reason for that, personally, as far as not doing a lot of in-homes at my house. But if I had a restaurant close by or a good meeting place, I would definitely do in-homes and things like that. But you just build it where you can. I love the networking, and with the networking, I do a lot of one-on-ones with that after the networking, and that has worked really, really well for me.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Marita. All right. Well, Sherry, we thank you so much for your time tonight. And thank you to all our guests who came on our Zoom call tonight. We will be, this is recorded and it will be posted to our Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. You're welcome to capture that and share it with friends and family, and introduce this product to other people, or just share Sherry's personal experience with other people. If you have questions, you're welcome to reach out to any of us. Creation Chiropractic is the name of our business, and you can reach us at 580-698-2852. And once again, we would love for you to share these recordings to educate more people. And we will return again in 2 weeks on April 16th, where we will have another guest and find out how Redox has changed their life in a positive way. So until then, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful rest of their week. And we look forward to the next time where we will meet again. Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.